Hey everybody, how's it going? Aaron Rift here, along with good old JM, Jeff Meacham, complete with NWO t-shirt. I'm wearing the old school NoDQ.com shirt for once. It's usually you wearing that shirt.
And no, that's not my shirt. He stole. He owns a place. That's his shirt.
Yeah, I have like 10 of these shirts left, so I'm good.
Good to know.
I'm good forever.
That's right.
Anyways,
2 weeks worth.
Today we are here to talk about the worst WWE pay-per-view endings in history. And I came up with this idea because of SummerSlam 2015 with the ending.
I mentioned this on Talk Wrestling. I was giving my review. One of the worst finishes, I think, ever. You know, and Otunga on the Raw pre-show tried to point out, well, Undertaker tapped it on purpose because the referee couldn't see it. No, Otunga, it was a horrible finish.
Well,
it was awful.
Many fans hated that finish.
Yeah, it was bad.
I got something like 440. Oh, there goes.
Down goes the Sandman.
There goes the knockoff action figure. Well,
oh,
so much for him. But anyways, yeah, I posted on Twitter, retweet if you hated the finish of Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, and I got something like 430 retweets.
It's a lot of retweets for a single tweet like that.
So yeah, Undertaker and Brock Lesnar left a sour taste in people's mouths.
Yes, but there have been worse finishes than that.
There have been a lot of bad ones over the years,
yes.
And I've compiled a list here. I know you have too.
I do. Yes.
Let's go back to 1992, WrestleMania 8.
Oh,
the main event, Hulk Hogan versus Sid, which ended in a disqualification.
If you want to call it that. I mean, first of all, I believe Harvey was supposed to interfere and break up the 3 count, and he missed his cue. Or Papa Shango missed his. Somebody missed their cue.
Papa Shango missed his cue. So
Sid had to kick out of the vaunted Hogan leg drop. It was like, dude, he just kicked out of the leg drop. How did that happen? So that was botch number 1. Botch number 2 was Papa Shango being late, period. So he was late and caused the DQ, even though Harvey was in there first.
The whole thing was just very botched.
Sense. And then had the Warrior come down and clear house and save Hogan for no reason.
Yeah, I mean,
it was awful.
It was cool as a kid to see the Warrior, but the fact that there was no decisive winner there, that was very disappointing. Yeah,
they had the Warrior's music hit, him come to the ring in this clear house and save Hogan, which led to the wonderful feud between Shango and Warrior. Oh, God.
And the feud between Warrior and Sid, which really
fizzled out because Sid was gone within a few weeks because he sucks. Sorry, he does. He always did. He's like Luger. But yeah, that whole finish, the whole show ended flat. If it ended with Savage Flair, it would have been different.
Yeah.
Savage Flair had a decisive ending. The good guy won. The right guy won. And it was very well done.
And that was really the beginning of the WWF's downfall in popularity around that time as well.
Definitely.
And things would just get worse. The following year at WrestleMania 9, arguably the worst WrestleMania of all time, ending with Bret Hart losing the WWF title to Yokozuna. Yokozuna and Mr. Fuji get on the mic. Mr. Fuji says Yokozuna will fight anybody. And out comes Hulk Hogan, and Bret Hart just says, yeah, go ahead, do it.
Yeah.
And,
but if you read Bret's book, it's like, yeah, go take my title. We'll see how you do.
Yeah, we know how Bret felt about it in real life, and basically Hogan stepping in and taking the spotlight from Bret Hart, winning the title from Yokozuna.
5th time.
And business did not pick up with Hogan as champion, and 3 months later he would lose it back to Yokozuna, and that would be the end of his WWF run.
Yep, for good, for 8 years.
And also in 1993, the SummerSlam pay-per-view main event.
Oh.
All this hype for Made in the USA Lex Luger. They even had a bus. He went on a tour.
He went on a tour across
all over the country.
Oh my God.
He comes to SummerSlam as the American hero, and he wins
by count out.
And
he celebrates like he won the title.
He is celebrating. I have never seen a man so happy to win by count out ever.
It was so bad. I don't understand. I just don't get it. It was like it was a bad finish. It made no sense.
I mean, if you're going to go with Lex Luger as your top guy, then go with it.
Put the belt on him.
It's like they got cold feet at the last minute, but all that hype for basically nothing.
Yep, and he never recovered.
Yeah, he never did.
He never recovered, ever.
Moving on here to 1995, one of the early In Your House pay-per-views. It was a tag team match with all the titles on the line, and they were basically guaranteeing that there would be new champions. Somebody would lose their
that's
title.
right. It was Diesel and Shawn Michaels against Owen. It was supposed to be Owen and Yokozuna, but they had Owen. They said Owen was sick or something, so they put the Bulldog in his place.
Yeah, and then Owen Hart ended up coming out anyways.
Interfered and got pinned.
And they said since Owen wasn't technically part of the match because he was replaced, that the title change is voided out.
Yeah, and what was great was they give the belts back to Owen and Yoko at Raw the next night, and they lose it right back to Smoking Guns.
Yeah, it was so lame.
It was just boom, like right away.
Really just...
It was horrible. It was one of those finishes where you kind of scratch your head, you're like, no, wait, but no.
Yeah, we wanted new champions, and we basically...
One way or the other, yeah.
Yeah, it was just...
How would it have been if Yokozuna had been WWE champion again, or if Owen had won the Intercontinental title from Shawn Michaels, or if they had been legitimate tag team title change?
It was cheap. It was very cheap. So moving on here to 97, perhaps the most famous ending to a pay-per-view in history. You know what I'm talking about, the Montreal Screwjob. Now, obviously, it's fascinating. We talk about it constantly, but as a casual pay-per-view viewer, there were tons of people upset and scratching their heads wondering what the hell is going on here. Yeah,
up until the advent of the internet, we didn't know about stuff like that. And up until the documentary came out a year later, Wrestling with Shadows, we never really knew the whole story. We knew Vince's side of it, and we knew what Brett was saying in the media and in the press, and we knew the account he had given to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer. But there was no definitive, okay, what happened here? So, for us sitting on the sidelines as a fan, even a casual fan, you were like, wait, did he lose or what happened?
Yeah, and as somebody who's paying $40 for pay-per-view or $35, whatever it was back then, you feel ripped off because the pay-per-view just ends abruptly out of nowhere. And I think it ended 20 minutes before the
something like that.
Top of the hour.
It was funny. I was talking with somebody else about this. The first time I ever saw that match, the whole way through, was on the Confidential DVD when it came out in 02, 03, whatever it was.
2002.
Because they had an interview with Shawn Michaels about the screw job, and in fact he had come back, and then they had the entire match, and I watched the whole match and went, wow, as a casual fan, you would never really know. I mean, you could tell something bad happened, but you really wouldn't think that something like that had happened. But I saw the documentary first. I saw that first, so I knew right away. And as a fan growing up, I was 14 years old. You had just turned 15, or getting ready to turn 15. It was very bizarre. It was very weird to see.
Absolutely.
And it definitely. I don't know if it was bad if you're a Bret Hart fan. It's bad if you're Bret Hart. But if you're a casual fan and you see a finish like that, you go, wow, they had to do anything. So I don't know if it was a bad finish. It was just a very weird finish.
Yeah, definitely. Well, weird is putting it mildly.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on here. 1998, Rock Bottom. The main event was Steve Austin versus The Undertaker in a Buried Alive match. And this is the downfall to live pay-per-view. Things can go wrong, and it was essentially a disaster because basically Austin won the match. He was burying The Undertaker, but it was taking literally forever. They brought out one of those trucks, those dump trucks, and it malfunctioned. They couldn't get it to work properly. Yep. So basically Undertaker was like maybe a few scoops of dirt dug on him, and the referee called for the bell. And this went on for 5 minutes.
Well, you notice after that match, when they had a Buried Alive match, they'd have the scoop already in place.
Yeah.
The whole show would be out there waiting for the main event. Because they had one on SmackDown where they ended up doing the shovels, but when Vince faced Undertaker in 03, they had the big payloader already loaded up. Same with Kane and Undertaker a few years later. So this led to an invention. This led to better planning.
Yes.
But initially it was like, oh man. And what was bad about that, not only did that match was bad, but the Rock Mankind match with the finish of Mankind winning, but, well, he passed out, you didn't make him tap out, so you didn't win the championship.
Yeah, it was really stupid.
It was a horrible show.
Yeah,
horrible show, period. One of the worst in your houses they ever had.
Yeah. And speaking of Steve Austin, poor Austin, the 1999 King of the Ring, the ladder match with him against Vince and Shane, and Austin's going for the briefcase and it gets raised, and we never find out who raised the briefcase.
Well, it couldn't have been Vince or Shane because they were both in the ring. People were saying maybe it was Paul Bearer because he had done something like that before with the Cell. But we never did find out, and it ended up meaning nothing because the next night, Austin won the belt back, and then a month later, he won the match with Undertaker that got Vince out of the company.
Yeah.
So Vince wins his company back, and then he can't be on TV.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, sure, we'll go with that.
It was just a cheap way to have Austin lose the match.
Very, 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 very last-minute booking here in '99 at both companies. I got plenty of WCW stuff we haven't talked about yet either, but we'll go ahead and I'll go back to WCW later.
Yeah, and WrestleMania had its fair share of bad endings. WrestleMania 16, I know you were there in person for. I hated that. The idea that Vince was going in this brutal feud with Triple H for months, and then he sides with The Rock only to turn on him at WrestleMania.
Well, what was funny is I was with our buddies Lee and his girlfriend at the time, and his family and their family. They were a few rows above me. I was in the cheap seats, and at the pond, when you're at cheap seats at the Honda Center, you're in fucking cheap seats. Okay, you're way up there. So we're in the 400, and I'm sitting like the front row of the 400. There are a few rows behind me because we got different seats. When Vince laid The Rock out with that chair, I saw that it was The Rock. But the people behind me are going, oh yeah, he hit Triple H. I'm turning around going, motherfucker, what? He hit The Rock. No, he didn't even look and go, holy shit, he did. I'm like, yeah, thanks guys. Okay, moving right along. It's like, okay. So he turns on The Rock, and then he joins up with the whole McMahon-Helmsley regime for the next, whatever it was, 3-4 months till he became the genetic jackhammer. Another bad booking decision. And again, more convoluted, last-minute, hot-shot booking in 99, 2000, and it was bad.
And also, they brought back Mick Foley out of retirement only for him to not win.
He was the second guy out of that match.
Yeah.
He loses to Triple H again.
It basically rendered his return pointless and cheapened his retirement.
It rendered his retirement pointless too, yeah, because he came back. How many times did he come back after that?
Yeah, so I really did not care for the booking of that main event at all.
The show overall was very, very poorly booked.
And
my first WrestleMania, what are you going to do?
Yeah, and a lot of people will agree, a lot of people will disagree. I did not like the WrestleMania 17 ending with the Austin heel turn.
Well, before you get to that, let me talk about Judgment Day 2000.
Oh, yeah.
2 months after WrestleMania. Undertaker comes back, his big comeback after being gone for almost a year. And he gets The Rock disqualified.
Yeah, and it was very confusing because Undertaker came out, he attacked everybody, and then he attacked Triple H, but Shawn Michaels was there, and there was like a huge miscue.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels was supposed to be the referee, and he was outside of the ring, and you didn't see this on TV, but when he picked up Triple H, Undertaker picked up Triple H, Michaels called for the disqualification, which gave the Rock the losing fall, which gave Triple H the championship. So Undertaker comes to this big babyface comeback. He's taking out the entire McMahon-Helmsley coalition, and he helps to win the title back.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, what the hell has this happened? As well, again, hotshot booking. Vince Russo style booking.
Right.
Even though Vince Russo wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Just horrible booking. Horrible.
Yeah, but
okay, carry on. WrestleMania 17.
They had that timing issue too, which botched the whole thing.
It did. It really did. Yeah.
And then WrestleMania 17 with the Austin heel turn. I didn't like it because it just didn't feel right for all the reasons that I've talked about many times over the years.
I didn't mind the finish itself. I didn't like the execution of the finish. Had they had Vince help Austin and then do anything else but shake hands.
Yeah, even Austin himself said that if he could have done it again, he would have
dropped Vince.
He would have stunned him at the end.
Stunned him right at the end there and just made it all worth it because the Texas crowd didn't want to turn on him anyway.
Yeah.
So to have Austin turn heel in Texas was a very poor decision, and it didn't work at all. It never worked. It didn't really work at him as a heel until he joined the Alliance.
Yeah.
Which was another bad decision.
Another bad ending with... Okay, so Austin comes out. He attacks the Alliance the week before the Invasion
on Raw.
Yep.
Stone Cold!
The crowd is just going crazy for this. So what does WWE do? They turn him right back heel at the Invasion pay-per-view.
Yep.
So another
botched finish.
Yeah. So let's move on here a little bit to another pay-per-view. I believe you were at Unforgiven 2002.
Yep.
Undertaker and Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
Funny enough.
Yeah. I was in the second part of the front row, the front section, and we see Undertaker grab Lesnar and just kind of chuck him through the sign. It was like, oh, I guess the show's over. That was it. That's all that was.
It just sucks for people paying the money to watch the pay-per-view to get a no finish.
Yep. I mean, if we had the network back then, or the seats were cheaper, like, okay, whatever. Like my dad, he didn't care where he was sitting. I had my undisputed belt. I was sitting in the back part of the front row. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Triple H wins the world title over Rob Van Dam thanks to Flair, and this non-finish.
Yeah, I mean, it was
so glad we came.
It was basically just the build-up for the Hell in a Cell match.
Which was very well done.
Yeah.
I will give them that. The Hell in a Cell, all three of them, him, those two, and Heyman, all bled buckets. That match was a deserving payoff of what we were screwed out of in Los Angeles.
Just sucks for the people that paid money on
the people's staples got screwed, but, what are you going to do?
Yeah. And next up I have on here SummerSlam 2003, the Elimination Chamber match. Goldberg was on fire in this match. Mm-hmm. He came out and the crowd was going nuts for him. The moment felt right for him to win the world title in this match. He was getting a reaction like the old Goldberg. And he was destroying everybody.
For the first time since he'd come back.
Yeah, it felt like the old 1998 Goldberg at his peak. And then Triple H hits him with the sledgehammer.
Evolution screws him.
And that's the end of Goldberg. And he wins the title the next month, and it has not nearly the impact that it would have had if he'd won the title at SummerSlam.
Nope. They celebrated Vince's birthday that day after the show was over. I wonder how Vince felt knowing that he totally robbed the crowd of a decent finish on his birthday.
And Linda McMahon, would publicly say they were disappointed with Goldberg, but they have nobody to blame but themselves. No. Next up here I have, once again with The Undertaker, the Great American Bash 2004.
I have that on my list too. Good grief, Charlie Brown. With the recently returned W Boys involved too.
Yeah.
The Concrete Crib, is that what it was called?
Concrete Crib match,
something like that. Yeah, you had Paul Bearer kidnapped with the Dudley Boys, essentially to get him off TV for surgery that he needed. And they bring him back for this show, and he's encased in concrete, like up to here. And as Undertaker refuses to listen to Paul Heyman, Heyman keeps pulling the lever that dumps more concrete. Undertaker wins the match, saves Paul Bearer, and he walks up to him, gives him the whole salute deal, gimmick. Paul, I have no other choice. Rest in peace. And he buries him himself with the lever and suffocates Paul Bearer. People watching live TV are going, dude, he just killed him. He just freaking killed him. They had to go on .com and go, okay, wait a minute, he's not dead. He's just severely injured. It's like, no. They killed Paul Bearer off for like 6 years. He didn't come back until 2010.
Took him that long to recover.
It took him that long to recover. Or maybe he was just working at other companies, maybe. Just saying. Percy Bremo III. Right, Sean Merker? But yeah, it was one of those things where it's just like, okay, I get that Undertaker, the character, saw Paul Bearer as liability, so they had to get rid of him. But to bury him alive, literally show him being buried on TV by concrete was very, very poor taste.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
It was so lame, and it was weird because Undertaker's this beloved babyface, and he's doing this horrible thing to his man.
Kind of what's going on now. He's a beloved babyface, and he's kicking people in the groin and cheating people out of victories.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Undertaker. Sometimes I don't know what they're thinking with him.
My dad seems to think he has he's in charge of his own destiny. It's like, no, Dad. Vince is still in charge of the booking, man. So whatever he says.
Now, do you have anything on that list between Great American Bash in 2010?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
December to Dismember 2006. horribly executed pay-per-view in general.
One of the worst main events.
Probably
the worst Elimination Chamber match.
Worst chamber match in history by far. Heyman wanted one thing, Big Show wanted that thing, CM Punk wanted that thing, and Vince was like, well, it's my company now. And so it didn't happen. You end up seeing Bobby Lashley win the championship. Not CM Punk, not Sabu, not RVD, nobody that
the crowd wanted.
Nobody the crowd wanted. We get force-fitted Bobby Lashley by pitting the Big Show last. Big Show, who was grossly out of shape by then, needed a year and a half to get his mojo back after this match. Heyman was sent home from TV after this.
Yeah, this was the end of Heyman for like 5 years.
More than that. Almost
6 years.
6 years. Almost 6 years, yeah. Didn't see Paul Heyman after this. Just a bad pay-per-view. That was horrible.
Yeah, I think once RVD was eliminated, that crowd just died.
Yeah, completely. I mean, RVD got screwed out of the championship because of what happened with the drug bust that we covered on this show. But you know, it was just one of those things.
Yeah.
Breaking Point 2009.
The Montreal
Screwjob revisited with CM Punk and once again the Undertaker. Teddy Long rings the bell for the Anaconda Vice after restarting the match because the Hell's Gate submission was outlawed still, according to Vicky Guerrero and her storylines. So you see the Anaconda Vice win over the Undertaker with a crooked referee finish. And then Teddy Long takes a long hearse ride after that.
Yep.
So, you know, it made CM Punk look bad. Made Undertaker look
he
bad.
had so much momentum, too, and this pretty much killed it.
He did.
Coming off of SummerSlam, the match with Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, coming off the whole program with Jeff Hardy, period. He had momentum for days.
And this is when WWE started doing the themed pay-per-views, a submission match for no reason.
Yep. So
just for the sake of doing it.
It was bad, yep. All right, 2010.
All right, 2010, Extreme Rules, Last Man Standing, John Cena versus Batista, the infamous duct tape finish.
Oh.
I have to say, Batista coming out the next night on Raw, making fun of it was funny, though.
Yeah, it's not hard to see why Batista quit.
Yeah, he quit about a month after this.
He was like, fuck this, I'm out of here.
Duct tape, I'm out of here.
Duct tape, if you're duct taping my legs to make me not stand up, I'm going home. You can't make me.
Yeah, it's like WWE trying to be creative, but people remember it for being so lame.
And they made John Cena, who's the superhero, the big baby face, made him look like a chicken shit. It did. It was so horrible. We sit here and laugh at it 5 years later.
Yeah.
You just go, oh god.
I mean, that is one of the most comically bad endings.
Very comically bad, absolutely.
And another bad one was a year later, Miz and John Cena. Actually, 2 Miz and John Cena matches. WrestleMania, the match that went about 3 minutes, and then they both got counted out at WrestleMania 27.
Yeah, Cena hits a big spear, whatever it was, through the barricade. They both get counted out. Rock, as the host of WrestleMania, walks out and goes, no. Restarts the match, and then rock bottoms Cena, lets Miz pin Cena, then he rock bottoms Miz too, and by the way, I'm going to be here next year for WrestleMania 2.
Yeah, basically
all it was.
Basically all it was an advertisement for Rock versus Cena at WrestleMania 28. Yeah. Such a lame way to end WrestleMania. Such a disappointment of a WrestleMania main event. But
then the next, whatever it was, the month after that.
Over the Limit. I think it was 2 months later.
Yeah, 2 months later, whatever it was, they had that I Quit match.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I'm gonna reveal stuff I have never said on air before, ever. Any show. I had been talking with Cena off and on through friends, and kind of became buddies, I guess, if you want to call it that. And I was watching Over the Limit at a bar out in where the fuck I was. Watching just Miz just beat this and just like seriously like cringing and how bad Cena was getting beat up. But he refused to never give up, right? So they do the Mankind Rock finish, where there's a audio clip of Cena saying "I quit."
Yeah, from Rumble 99.
No, you were there for that one.
Yeah,
and it didn't work then. It didn't work now.
Yeah,
bad finish, and then they restart the match because they find the video recorder, whatever it is, and then Cena wins the championship.
Yeah, he just Miz beats the hell out of him forever, and then Cena just makes his comeback and wins, and that's the end of it.
That was bad.
Yeah, really, really lame.
Yep.
Moving on here to Battleground 2013. This is when they really tried it seems like they almost purposely tried to sabotage Daniel Bryan, a guy who was extremely over, won the WWE title only to lose it the same night at SummerSlam 2013, the beginning of the Authority angle. And oh boy, what a great way to start off the Authority angle. You had the Night of Champions match, or actually Battleground, excuse me. So I think there was like 3 pay-per-views in the span of a month at this period. It was Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan for the title.
Again.
And you had Big Show coming out and KOing both guys, and that was the end of the pay-per-view. Yep.
And then you had Night of Champions, I think it was, that they had the screwy referee finish.
Yeah.
And then you had Hell in a Cell, where there was a decisive finish, but there really wasn't, because Shawn Michaels interfered. It was the referee. He was biased as the referee, too.
Yeah, so yet again, Shawn Michaels as a heel referee cost Daniel Bryan, and it went absolutely nowhere.
Yep, because Michaels is not going to come back. He's not going to get in the ring.
So what was the point?
What is the point of a special referee if he's not going to be physically involved after that?
Yeah.
There is none.
Yeah, it was basically just to get the title off of Bryan, and they tried to downplay Bryan after that, and they went back with Cena in the main event, and then they had the Royal Rumble, of course, the 2014 Royal Rumble with. I think as much as people hated SummerSlam 2015 with Undertaker and Lesnar, I think that 2014 Rumble was the most disliked ending.
I have never in my entire in 2 months, it'll be 25 years I've been watching. I've never heard a crowd turn so instantly.
When Daniel Bryan was eliminated.
When Daniel Bryan was eliminated. No, when he wasn't even in that match.
Oh, this was I'm thinking 2015. We'll get to that in a
14.
few minutes.
He wasn't there, number 1. Number 2, Rey Mysterio came out as number 30. He was the last guy out, and people realized it wasn't Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
And they just turned instantly. And when they realized Bryan it was in a Batista and Roman, and they knew in their hearts that Roman was going to win to defeat the hated Batista. Nope.
Yeah,
Batista won. That whole sequence from the time Rey came out until Batista won, I've never heard a consistent boo like that in my life. It was horrible. And then they go a year later, and they don't want Roman to win, so Vince goes, let's have Roman win. And they have Roman win.
Yeah, and the problem is that they brought back Daniel Bryan, and fans wanted to see Bryan make his big comeback and win the title. So when he did get eliminated, the crowd just, like you said, completely flipped.
Completely turned. And then when the presence of The Rock can't help turn a crowd back, you've got a problem.
Yeah, they had The Rock out there. They anticipated there might be a backlash for Reigns winning, so they had The Rock there to try and endorse Reigns and get people to cheer for Reigns.
Didn't work.
Did not work at all. And The Rock, you could even see the look on his face when they're booing. He's like, he doesn't even know what to think.
Yeah, Rock was like, they're booing me. What the hell? They never boo me. It's me.
Really, it's a picture says 1,000 words. The Rock's expression when he raises Roman's hand really, really says it all.
He's shaking his head like, oh man, we're fucked. We're fucked.
Yeah. And one more I want to mention, actually a month before that, TLC 2014, Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt. The ending of that match with Dean, basically he has the TV monitor and it explodes in his face.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I remember that because it just made his character look so stupid.
It was really bad. Another bad one was a couple months before that when Ambrose and Rollins were in the Hell in a Cell and Bray interfered to start the feud in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
With the smoking, the holograph. Oh god.
Yeah, it was great Hell in a Cell match, but the finish was
awful,
quite hokey.
Yep. It's amazing how much when you involve gimmick matches, how the finishes just get really fucked up.
Yeah. So there you have it for our thoughts on the worst pay-per-view endings in WWE history.
And that's just WWE. There's plenty from WCW too, but I guess we'll go ahead and do another show.
You want to mention a few real quick?
Well, I'll mention a couple since I got the list up here.
I mean, there's a lot of them.
Anything from Uncensored.
Anything
from Uncensored that year.
Well, especially 96.
96, the Triple Cage match. That was bad. 95, the strap match with Hogan and Vader, where Hogan drags Flair to all four corners to win.
He beats Vader by dragging Flair.
Yeah, that was bad. Not a bad finish, just a botched finish. Sin 2001 with Sid.
Yeah.
With the leg. Ugh. I watched that video again last night before I taped this, and I regret it now.
Yeah, Starrcade 97, of course. With
the big botched referee finish. That was horrible.
Starrcade 99 with the reenactment of Montreal.
Halloween Havoc 2000. The big babyface Goldberg against the monster heels Chronic squash match.
Yeah.
3-minute long match on a pay-per-view to end the show.
Right.
Horrible. Halloween Havoc 95, the whole Yeti humping Hogan thing. That was disturbing.
This is almost making the WWE ending seem decent.
Right? I know. Halloween Havoc 98, where there wasn't a finish because we went off the air early. That was the worst one ever, I think. And then Slamboree 2000, where the WCW champion, David Arquette, the little babyface actor, turns heel.
Starrcade 99 when Starrcade 98 when Goldberg's streak ended.
I see people shit on that. I don't see a problem with that. No. They had to get out of that somehow.
I know.
They had to end the streak at some point.
Well, how about this then? Great American Bash 2000 when WCW was promising an ending that not even Vince McMahon himself can stop, and it was Goldberg turning heel.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. WCW's finishes, like you said, make WWE's finishes, not so bad by comparison.
Yeah.
All right.
So that'll do it for our thoughts. Where does Undertaker and Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2015 rank compared to the other matches that we talked about? Leave a comment on
Not so bad now when you think about it, is it?
YouTube.com/NoDQCAW. Give us your feedback, and thank you for being on today, Jeff.
Of course, sir.
Follow him at _Jeff Meacham on Twitter. Follow me at Aaron Rift. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest in the world of wrestling. Thanks for watching.